we want people to drink Maryland beer, pick Maryland beer over some other beer. So it's almost that rising tides. I know it sounds sort of cliche, but it is really true. Like, the better each individual brewery does, the better everybody, at least if they wanted to, can do.
Judy, Rob, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, so first question I gotta ask, this is directed towards you.
All right.
You have a PhD in microbiology from Johns Hopkins.
Yep.
So take me through the story. How did you go from that and now you're running a brewery?
To Brewing, yeah. So that's what brought me to Baltimore way back in 2003, which is crazy. And I came here to get my PhD. I was never planning on staying. I was gonna go do my postdoc somewhere else, and ended up meeting Rob and tons of great people. I love Baltimore, and I decided to stay. While I was getting my PhD, we went out to California, San Francisco, to go visit family. I have a lot of family out there. And we went on a brewery tour at Anchor Brewing. That was back when it was still run by Fritz Maytag, and family owned and operated. And the brewery tour was amazing. Had such a great time. I came home and said, I want to make beer too. And literally just went down to Maryland Homebrew and got us a little starter kit and started brewing on the stove, and loved it, and just sort of started getting a little more sophisticated with it as I went along. Got different pieces of equipment to end up starting to brew with grain instead of with extract, and sort of fast forward a bunch of years and had 13 taps in the basement. I'm sorry, 8 taps in the basement, and it's still a lot. And that was time.
Wow. Yeah, I read on the website you guys started out, you were just Natty Bo fans, and then suddenly the interest in craft beer started developing. Well, I'm curious, what was it about? It was Anchor Brewing in California. What was it about that brewery that, because I'm sure you'd been to breweries before. What was it about that one where you were like, oh, this is so cool, I need to start doing this? Yeah,
so it was back in probably around 2005. What did you say, 2005, 2006? And so there were a lot of breweries, but there weren't a ton of breweries still. He had been around for a really long time. Sort of one of the original sort of craft breweries that got started, and he was fortunate to come from money, and the place was beautiful. They had all these really beautiful kettles and tanks, and they really took the time though to keep the brewery tour really small so that you could have a lot of interaction, and then it was probably all the beers they served us at the end. There were no samples; they were all full pours. We tried everything in full pours. It was just wandered around after that aimlessly. So it just sort of something there clicked, and
just took off with it.
Found the passion.
The smells of brewing.
Yeah.
The process of it.
Yeah.
The shiny tanks and everything. And
love the shiny
it's
tanks.
just neat when you get a cup of beer out of it.
Yeah. So how did you take it from you had 8 taps in the basement, and fast forward to today? The cameras can only pick up so much, but we're in a huge facility. I think you guys have been here for, I think you said a year and 3 months.
A little over a year, yeah.
So what has that journey been like?
Yeah, so I guess going from homebrewing and scaling up, we're fortunate to have gotten to know At that point, most of the either brewers or owners, the brewery scene in Maryland was still much smaller, to the point where you could know everybody. And so we ended up doing a bunch of collaborations before we opened. So I was able to work with a bunch of the brewers on just sort of logistics of how do you scale up. So with home brewing, I understood why I was doing what I was doing, the science behind everything, water chemistry, ingredients, creating recipes, and understanding why you're doing what you're doing. The difference on the big scale is just you can finally do all the things you should have been doing that you couldn't afford to do for quality, and then just the pieces of equipment are different. So had great friends help scale up. It's a part of why I wanted to do this also is the craft beer community is so tight-knit and so close that if you ask for help, people will take the time, brewers will take the time to help you.
Yep.
And they're happy to. It's sort of like a pay it forward type thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think is really cool about this industry. I mean, we've been in the space for a little over a year now, and I just find that everybody that we chat with in this industry is so friendly and just so willing to help. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, I noticed that you're doing some relief efforts for the hurricane in North Carolina, and you're sending some supplies down there, and you're partnering with a lot of the breweries in this area, like Pickett and some of the other ones. And you've kind of done some collaborations and partnerships with what some might say competitive breweries in the neighborhood before, like you do with like the hot dog chase
Yeah.
thing.
The race, the live race.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Relish has won
Yeah.
There you
2
go.
years in a
Okay,
row.
so there is some competition there.
Yeah.
But
The trophy.
yeah, I mean, what's the reason? I think it's an awesome thing. I think it's a very good thing that you're all very collaborative with one another. What's the reason for that everybody leans more towards helping each other as opposed to being like, oh no, there's another brewery down the street that's our competition?
Yeah, I don't think it's every state that is this way. Maryland seems to be not unique, but some other states are not as friendly, I guess, with each other, we've heard. Just getting out there and doing it, meeting people. You need to know who's in your industry, and it's a lot of fun people that we work with. And Judy can be brewing, and they might need a bag of grain that we don't have enough of, and we'll call our friend at Heavy Seas, and they have a bag, and we'll go get it, and then we just give it back. But just unlike any other industry, really.
Yeah,
awesome.
I think for us, it's we want people to go to brewery tap rooms. Like, we want that to be a place that people want to go to. And so if you have other breweries that, aren't making good beer, or, that it's not a fun place to go, that ends up sort of hurting you as well, because then somebody might go there for the first time, have a bad experience, and say, oh, I don't like tap rooms,
That makes a lot of sense.
We want people to want to go to tap rooms, to drink Maryland beer, like pick Maryland beer over some other beer,
Yeah.
support local. So it's almost that rising tides. I know it sounds sort of cliche, but
No, that's
but
spot on.
it is really true. Like, the better each individual brewery does, the better everybody, at least if they wanted to, can do.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think I actually said this exact quote in our last podcast, but it applies here as well. This is from Jeff Bezos, who's like, the competitor down the street is usually not the person that knocks you out of business. Usually industries rise and fall as a whole.
Yep.
And so it's,
That's true.
if
That's true.
breweries are doing well, then odds are you're going to do well too.
Yeah.
And then of course there's levels to it where you want to be a good brewery.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No, you still need to have good quality. And there's, it's not 100% out there. But yeah, that's sort of the goal. That would be the ideal, is if every brewery made amazing beer and had a great taproom experience. That would be positive,
Yeah.
because people go different places, They
Yeah.
don't always go to the same place.
So on that note, you guys were in a different location a year and a half ago. You moved into this location. What spurred that decision to make that jump? And I mean, this place is huge, and there's like an arcade upstairs, there's an event space, there's a huge tap room, you have these nice coffee barrels back here. Like what was the main reason that you decided to do that?
Yeah, I think we always wanted to buy a building as far as, future retirement type thing. And how do I say it? Our landlord was a guy and, didn't really help us out much. And sort of part of our long-term plan was to get out of there and buy something. And we were very lucky to land here and able to get this property.
Yeah.
You probably say the same
And so
thing.
when our lease was coming up, we started looking and got really lucky to find this place. It was, we got really lucky to find this place. We wanted to stay in this area. We love being in the South Baltimore area. Had gotten to know the crew over at Pickett and Waco as they were, in the process of opening. And we now have, we were able to do any, to make it how we want it to be, not how our landlord, wants it to look or not look, or, we can have windows that open, signage on the wall, murals painted,
Make it
things
feel
like
more
that.
authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
So we were under constant construction over there, the old place. It
Is
just
it okay
never
if I
ended.
pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
Sorry, our farmer's here, and I think Ryan's not back.
Yeah, we can cut out
Let me just
anything
tell
we need to
him.
cut out.
Okay.
Added bonus on top of everything.
Yeah.
All right, back.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Back at it. Cool. Yeah. So we were talking about this location.
Yeah.
So, you guys you moved into this location. Your landlord was a guy. So, I think one of the big appeal factors to this is that, you have M&T Bank Stadium right down the street. You get an influx of customers after Ravens games and Orioles games. Was that a big factor into moving into this place, and how has that impacted things? Has it made a huge impact on overall revenue and growth for you guys?
Oh yeah, I think so. And we wanted to stay in the area because we built a fan base here. Old place was 3 blocks away. We get tons of Ravens crowd. There's been O's crowd all year. We get a bump. And we wanted to be here in Baltimore and in this sort of region that we were already in was, I guess, the main thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but we are hoping, that this sort of that walk at Warner, we'd like that to be developed yesterday.
Yeah.
The idea is that sort of that development is happening and having the casino, and then they're putting in a hotel that's going to be 1 block on this side street away, and then sort of some shops, and then the Top Golf, and then some other venues sort of as you get to M&T Bank Stadium. And then the idea is to sort of translate that over sort of down Ostend Street and Ridgely to, support the 3 breweries that are over here. And we're, hoping to encourage other small businesses to move in, art galleries, things like that sort of would make this sort of a real entertainment district that's not just, big name thing, that it's not just, a big casino and Top Golf, and, but that also incorporates, small businesses where, the people, the owners are here.
Yeah.
They live in Baltimore, so trying to sort of take that corporate, entertainment that is necessary to build something like this and sort of expand it out to small businesses in the area.
Yeah, it feels like you and the other breweries around here are kind of pioneering this neighborhood and getting in early, like before all this development comes, and then, I'm sure people are going to say you're lucky when it all gets built up, and they're like, oh man, they were already there, but
Yeah, we definitely feel very lucky to have landed here. We looked and looked and looked and looked some more, and think the day this place went on the market, our agent saw it and told us about it. We're like, we want to see it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd actually written him,
Yeah.
we were like cold calling him,
Yeah,
asking if
that's
they
right.
were ever gonna, were they gonna sell anytime soon
Yeah.
or anything like that. And it was this weird back and forth, and they were in the process of actually like listing it.
Yeah.
So
And you just hopped on it.
it was like, okay,
Yeah.
first day.
We saw it on like a Friday, and we put a contract in on Monday,
Yeah.
and it took 3 weeks to get an answer. But
But
some
you got it.
negotiating. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was. I still don't really believe it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's an awesome space. It's perfect. One of the things I wanted to ask you about, so I was doing some digging through the news articles, and something interesting I found was you guys came out with a beer when the Angelos family sold the Orioles and named it Adios Angelos.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, then the owner ended up passing away a couple days later. The timing was just didn't
Yeah.
work out. Did you get any bad press from that? And if so, how did you handle it?
No, and I can't. It's a very clever name. I can't
Yeah,
take credit. I
no,
can't
it's awesome.
take credit for it. Ryan, who works in the back with us, came up with it, and it was more like, it wasn't meant to. It
ownership
was
change.
just about ownership change. It wasn't,
Yeah,
you know,
it was
and it
harmless.
was excitement for like the new ownership,
Right.
which people are still excited about. And they did. They needed a change. But yeah, the timing was awful, which is why we
works out like
we
that
changed
sometimes.
we changed the name
Yeah.
immediately after. But no, it was more got more press coverage than anything.
Good, okay,
because
good.
people were excited about it, and it's like no, we're
I was curious if that
Yeah,
was like a
it's just
PR
sort
nightmare,
of-
that people were taking that
It
the
didn't
wrong
go
way.
too out of hand, thank goodness.
no, because it
Yeah.
wasn't a negative name.
There's no
Like
malintent.
there wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't some label with a middle finger or something. Like it was like it just means goodbye.
Yeah,
Not-
almost like a thank you.
And it was
yeah, like it's not a negative
next.
goodbye. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was pretty funny. Where it was just like, all right.
Yeah, I came across that and I was like, man, I wonder if there is some behind the scenes like PR strings. They're like, all right, how do we handle this?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold through that beer, I think, over that opening weekend.
Yeah, it was just a small batch.
Yeah, small batch. So
Okay,
it was.
And then you changed the name after that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What
Oh
did we-
yeah. Yeah. It never came out as
No.
Adios Angelos. It was something else.
Let's go O's. Goes.
Oh, like something about goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
something
handled
less
it well.
memorable.
Yeah, that's good. On that note, you're obviously coming out with a whole bunch of different beers all the time and trying new things. How do you look at your growth strategy for the brewery? Are you more focused on distribution and building the brand that way and becoming kind of a regional or national name, or are you solely focused on growing taproom sales?
Oh, I mean,
all
definitely
that, yeah.
taproom,
Taproom is key.
distribution is also very, very important. Like, no, we don't want to be a large regional or a national, but we would love to be carried everywhere in Maryland.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we're
that
getting there.
that would be great. But yeah, taproom is definitely a big focus. First of all, people can try all of our beers instead of just one or two.
Yeah.
And then sort of get to see where it's made, get to see sort of who we are, and yeah.
And
Yeah.
growth for us will be in the event space. So we do a ton of private parties. We work with nonprofits who host stuff here. There are some Saturdays where there's 4 different parties going on. There's something over there, a bigger one. There's people up in the mezzanine. So we were able to do some of that over there, but this space just flows so
Yeah.
much better.
And what do you guys do to spread the word and build the brand and attract people to book events here? Is there any marketing strategy in place, or is it all just organic and you have a great location?
So both. We have we're able to fit 250 people in the event space, so that sort of gives us. There aren't a ton of places that sort of have that. It's either much larger or smaller, and then we can support small parties, and we're big enough that we can say, oh, yeah, we can reserve that section, or so it just makes it an easy place for people to come and have events. It can be casual, people can come and go as they please. They can take care of their own beers, things like that. But yeah, it's definitely through our website and social media. We always include it in our newsletter. But yeah, we're sort of trying to figure out different ways that we could go about this to, get to the hotels. And, Rob's going to be doing a tasting at a hotel tomorrow, even. But things like that, like how do we get ourselves in front of the people who are putting the events together? One way is by having the event, and someone who comes to one of the events says,
About it.
this is a great place. I want to have my birthday party here.
happens,
So there's it's a lot of word of mouth, I'd say. But yeah, if you guys have any tips, we are all ears.
Facebook and Instagram ads.
Yeah.
Just have those running at all times.
Yeah.
And part of it, like when we, excuse me, we distribute, so we have cans of beer in retail, and then we have draft at a lot of bars. Somebody never knowing who we were or have ever been here, they can have our beer out and like, oh, this is really good. I'm gonna go check them out, and that gets people in too, for sure. Or like spreading out with distro.
Yeah. So basically, you're densely distributed in Baltimore so that, no matter where somebody can go, they can try your beer, and then hopefully after trying it, they like it. And
Be like, I want to try all of them.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I mean, we always, we find that with breweries and distilleries and wineries, we find it's just so much easier to market places that actually have a good tap room with a lot to offer. Like, you have to have food, you have to have a good event space, it has to just be like a fun place people actually want to go to. It's really hard to put lipstick on a pig, for lack of a better phrase there. But when you have a place like this, it's like, kind of sells itself, and you just need to tell people about it.
And so it's how do you get in front of all the right people, the people who are putting, even like bigger corporate events and things like that together. So that is one avenue we would love to explore is, talking to event planners. And
We do a little bit of marketing with WTMD.
Okay.
Occasionally online.
Nice.
That's been good too.
Nice. I heard I won't name the brewery, but I heard a radio ad yesterday for a brewery. And I was like, oh man,
I know who that is.
Yeah. Well, I want to be respectful of your time because I know you guys are opening soon, but I do have one more question for you.
Sure.
What is the number one business challenge that you're facing right now, and how do you plan on solving for it?
I mean, from our side, you've heard everyone say it. Are people drinking less? Are people drinking less beer? That may be true. I don't think that's necessarily hurts us so much. If more people drinking in moderation is I feel like craft beer is sort of better for that anyway. People who are drinking a 30-pack of Coors Light should probably be drinking a little bit less.
Right.
But they're probably not drinking
Coors Light, you can drink 30 of those.
all craft beer, So craft beer is still sort of a specialty thing. I don't think the population was so huge before that was drinking a bunch of craft beer every single day. Anyway, so I think it's just, hopefully people are, more discerning about what they're drinking. So, maybe picking and choosing a little more where they're going. But so just keep sort of trying to support people, keep trying to have, different kinds of events for different kinds of people. It's not all just one type of thing. We do, vintage markets to, fundraisers for, campaign fundraisers, and we do a lot of stuff with barks and music and games, and we get together and do a Spanish, where we speak Spanish conversation once a month, and some educational stuff, components. So just trying to sort of appeal to a wide assortment. People are different. Everybody likes different things, and so sort of having sort of options for for people to do things that they want to do.
That is a really good point. I feel like you kind of have to do that in the brewery space. There's not one type of person necessarily that enjoys craft beer. It's like anybody can enjoy craft beer, and it's like you have to have all these different types of events at your tap room to kind of tap into those separate segments of the market and be like, hey, we're
craft
open
beer's
for
come a
everybody.
long way.
Yeah.
It did used to just be one type of person that drank craft beer, and now it's really everybody drinks craft beer now and enjoys it, and so it is becoming a much more inclusive environment, which is fantastic. That's good for any place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm super happy about it. I don't miss the days of just Coors Light.
Yeah.
Maybe with some crabs, some Coors Light, or we have a Pilsner, but
Yeah.
I like a Coors Light, I think, but if I can have, I'll say it, but yeah, if I can have, I always drink our beer and local beer. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's some nostalgia for that. Like growing up, my dad would have a Coors banquet. I think he had-
Yeah.
Occasionally in the fridge, he'd have a banquet if me and my brothers didn't get to it as youngsters. But yeah, it's come a long way. And now even my dad is drinking, like, he has a beer once a day at 3:30.
At
And he'll have a
3:30?
Checkerspot.
Have a Checkerspot,
Oh,
yeah.
nice. Okay.
Yeah.
At least he's supporting the brand.
Yeah.
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 He'll have a Checkerspot, or he'll go to
Yeah, he'll go to
Liquidity, which is right,
Mount
he
Airy.
like a couple blocks away. They live in,
Okay.
he lives in Mount Airy. But but even, somebody who's in his early 80s could change his mind and drink craft beer. It's
Yeah.
from 21 to
Yeah, and he's
100,
finding,
101. It's
That can be your new slogan.
yeah,
yeah,
from
and
21
he's
to
finding
100.
he likes like so many different styles. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just was a light beer guy a long time ago, I guess. But now he's whatever we got, he'll try one.
Is it 3:30 because he goes to sleep earlier now that he's in his
He
80s? or-
goes to bed pretty late, but he gets up late, and he works with his friend all day, doing
Yeah.
yard work or whatever they get into, or coming down here to help us do stuff. And then it's time to they have a really big front porch and just sit there and watch the world go by.
It's the acceptable hour
Yes,
to
yeah.
for
It
him
does
to
sound
start
awesome.
drinking.
Someday, it sounds great.
Well, if we both build our companies to the levels that we hope to build them, we can grow up and we can just be like your dad.
And then we'll have that future podcast where we're
Yeah.
sitting on
On the front porch. Yeah. I'll hold you to it. Well, this was awesome. I know you guys are opening in a few minutes, so I want to let you do your thing. But appreciate you coming on. This was an awesome episode, and I guess to close things out, how can people find out about you? Where should they go? And yeah.
Yeah, so our website is always easy. It's just checkerspotbrewing.com, and same, it's just Checkerspot Brewing for Facebook and Instagram. And then through our website, you can always sign up to receive newsletters. So we don't spam everybody. It's generally once a month. You might get one in the middle of the month if there's some like special event happening, but that's probably the best way is to sign up for the newsletter, so you can sort of each month just see what's coming up and if there's something interesting or a new beer or a cool event.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much. This was awesome, and I don't have a beer, but cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.